शंभवे नमः शंकराय नमः शंभवे नमः। ओम यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं देवमात्मबुद्धि प्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादी नगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने। यस्य निश्वसितं वेदाः यो वेदेभ्योऽखिलं जगत् निर्ममेतमहं वन्दे विद्यातीर्थमहेश्वरम् विद्यातीर्थमहेश्वरम्। The psychology of a person. Now, who is ready to take the life of renunciation is quite different. His reason for taking to the life of renunciation is not because he has certain complexes. Several people may think that it is a good escape because I really am afraid of human interactions, of various social interactions, and because I am handicapped emotionally or intellectually in order to handle those interactions, I would escape, take a flight, and conceal this inability of mine as a spiritual pursuit. And therefore one would enter into the cloisters and things like that, seminaries, so that he can live the life of a recluse. This is not true. This is not the psychology at all. In fact, when we are talking about sannyas, this person is the one who has flung all his identities to the wind. He is not so worried about how people are going to judge him, not because he is a hippie. He is not rebelling against the society. Somebody who is rebellious and wants to be different and, just not just be different, but anti-established social norms. For example, to have a family life, to have a partner in marriage is a socially accepted norm in all the cultures. But then there comes someone and who says that we don't accept this. In order to have offsprings. You need not be married. All that you need is a man and a woman coming together, and a child can be born out of a wedlock. And the child need not even know who is his mother and father. And the children can be looked after by the whole society, the whole community. Every person in that community is his father. Every person in that community is his mother. Every woman is his mother. Every man is his father. He doesn't know who exactly his father and mother is. And so people think about this as a rebellious way to refute, to stand against an established social norm. This is not a model that will ever work. A child needs to have an identity as a son of someone, with a father, needs a mother. You can pick up various good qualities from several people on the way, but that's what a mother can give, and that's what a father can. And that's what he can draw from a person whom he considers as his father, and that's what he can draw from someone who he now knows definitely is his mother. That kind of a bond is required for a healthy emotional development. And if you are going to say, let's not have this, let's create a society in which even the mother and father would not know who amongst this whole group of children are their children. This kind of an ambiguity, vagueness, will only lead to a life of doubt. So I do not subscribe to this idea that just because you want to rebel against an established norm, you want to do this. No, sir. Similarly, if somebody thinks that, this is a life of a sannyasi, is a life of a recluse, of a hermit, who now detests the social interactions, and he wants to avoid it, and therefore he becomes a recluse. Sir, that is not true. The psychology of a sannyasi is much different. In his understanding, now he needs nothing. That what the society and the world at large can offer to him, that what the karma can offer to him in terms of putra, vitta and loka. And therefore now he gives up karma. And giving up karma also means giving up various duties as a householder. But now the society still recognizes him as an ideal, because here is a person who has risen above all the cravings of the flesh, the cravings of the ego, the insecurities of the ego, and he is now treading the path of knowledge. So such a person who now has even, who can give himself totally to the pursuit of knowledge, is indeed a sacred personality. It is a sacred presence, because we are already burdened with our own ambitions, our petty desires, our raga dveshas, likes and dislikes which we have so well preserved for years together. Here is someone who has flung all these things to the wind and for whom now holds no enmity towards anyone. He is someone who is not competitive. His presence, his life is not a competitive presence that he wants to prove himself great and big and somebody who should be admired and applauded by the society. No, sir. He absolutely doesn't want any certificates. So the psychology is totally different. And even if a grihastha for few moments also is able to have this psychology of sannyas, you will see that so many worries and so many anxieties will just lose their hold on you. So much of psychological pressure as what will people say and what will people do and what will happen to me if these people reject me, if these people don't recognize me. So much of pressure and so much of tension caused by that. In fact, in Yoga Sutra, it is said, Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. In one of the upayas of the samadhi, in one of the methods suggested by sage Patanjali to accomplish samadhi, he says, for a few moments, for a little while, just think, Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam, let your mind be imbued. Think like a sannyasi. Think like a sannyasi. If you can't think, revere a sannyasi, respect him. And you will see, because you have respected someone, the values that are in him slowly will percolate in your life. The calm, the peace, the ability to stand peacefully in face of insult and respect, admiration and admonition, both. You are one day then going to say, let me see if I can be equipoised. Yes, balance is going to be lost. Maybe in 24 hours, this grihastha can stay for few minutes with that equipoise. But if you have been able to do that for few minutes today, that will give you confidence that tomorrow I can do it for another few minutes more. And slowly and steadily, it will fill your 24 hours. Usher it in, welcome it in. Therefore, he says, Vitaragam Shayam Vachittam. There's a very beautiful incident in the sense the attitude which Bharatji has taught us in Ramayana. When Bhagwan Ramachandra is in exile for 14 years, Bharatji took up the role as a trustee. And He said, well, Sri Rama, I shall be your representative. I will not be the king of Ayodhya, but I will be the representative of the king of Ayodhya, who presently is in Dandakaranya for 14 years. Bhagwan Ramachandra could have told Bharata, for 14 years I accepted me, sit on the throne, rule, administer the kingdom, give justice to the people. But Bharata says that let me be your representative. Bhagwan Ramachandra blesses him with that. And the reason is because all those 14 years when decisions had to be made, Bharata only stepped in Rama's padukas in his shoes. And Bharata would say, how would Rama look at this situation? What will Rama say to this person? How will Rama deliver this justice? How will Rama, even if he has to break a bitter news to someone, how will Rama do that? How will Rama be very, very tender? Or when it comes to being stern, how will be Rama's sternness? Bharata's whole personality undergoes a change. So much so that ultimately Bharata not only starts thinking exactly like Rama, Bharata starts looking like a replica of Rama. Even the complexion of his body changed to Rama's complexion. The face, the eyes, the ears, the arms, the gait, everything was Ram. As if it was just a replica of Ram. Therefore, Bharata is the representation of Sarupya Mukti. Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. Let a grihastha for the moments, even when it comes to making decisions at your home. Some decisions are unpleasant. Some decisions are pleasant. And it is not very difficult to make pleasant decisions, choices. Difficult ones are those where there is unpleasantness involved. Think, how would this be looked upon by Shankaracharya? What will he say in this case? How will he frame his words? What kind of words and what attitude will he have? Though he knows that the world is mithya, but when it comes to consoling a grieving mother, how tender the words will be. And you will see that those qualities which are the divine qualities with which a sannyasi is supposed to be saturated with, will slowly, those divine qualities, Daivi Sampat, will start coming in life. Profit and loss are bound to be there in each one's life. As the prarabdha brings it, it is going to be there. It's not it true? Prarabdha is going to bring pleasant and unpleasant things to you. Don't say only mithai mithai kadwa bhi aata. You are biting into an apple which is juicy and sweet, but somewhere if you are going to bite into its seed, it is going to be bitter and dry, isn't it? It will happen. But a common person is he who is delighted with sweet and depressed with bitter. A wise is he who looks at both of them as just experiences, limited only to the waking world, and therefore they are just equal. Sometimes you may have a very pleasant dream, and sometimes the dreams may be very scary, horrible. But when you wake up, all those dreams are dreams. Just because something is pleasant doesn't mean that it is real. Just because something is scary, horrible, doesn't mean that it is real. No, nothing. Both of these are dreams. Like that, a grihastha will also be able to do that. Therefore, understanding the psychology of sannyas means that you are actually stepping into his shoes. Step into his shoes for a few minutes every day. Make this as your exercise. Step into his shoes. Look at the world from his eyes. Just as Bharata looks at the world from Rama's eyes. And sure enough, Bharata merges with Rama. Like that. And so now, Brahma Vijnana Labhaya Parahamsa Samavaya Shanti Dantyadibhi Sarvai Sadhanai Sahito Bhave. So now being called as the Paramahamsa, the person in order to attain the Brahma Vijnana, in order to attain the experience, the ultimate experience of Brahman, let him equip himself with Shanti, Shama, Dama, Bharat, Iksha, Shraddha and Sadhana Sahito. Furthermore, the teacher says, Iha Janmani Janmantare Samyak Anushthitaihi Vedānuvachanādhihi Utpannaya Vividishaya Sambhaditatvādayam Vividisha Sannyāsaha Vidhiyate. Whether it is this life or earlier lives, Iha Janmani Janmantareva Samyak Anushthitaihi, because the person followed it with commitment, followed the practice with commitment, the practice of Vedānuvacana Ityadi, means reciting the Vedas every day, Yajna every day, Dana, etc. through all these practices, through the karma yoga, what has happened? Now, the Vividisha is Sampadita. He has accomplished the desire to know, the desire to know Parma, desire to know Parmeshwara. It has taken strong roots in his heart, so much so that the winds of situations and circumstances cannot uproot it. Everyone over here wants to know Parmeshwara. But let this 1 hour finish and your desire to know Paramatma will just be kept on this side. It will be racked, isn't it? On the side rack. You yourself are going to say, Swamiji, it's true, we want to know Parmeshwara. But, and that but itself is good enough. It means that yes, I want to know. And that but means that not now. Maybe I will keep it on my agenda for next life or next to next life, or maybe after I become old, or maybe later on in my life, but definitely not now. That means this desire is already subjugated by other desires. But when the desire to know Parmeshwara cannot be subjugated, cannot be suppressed by any other thing, circumstances also cannot subjugate it. Your own desires cannot subjugate this desire. And when this desire rules the roost, we are going to say Sampadita. It is Samyak Apadita. संपन्न हो गए. Vividasha, gone. What? It is Vividisha, the desire to know what your neighbor's daughter is doing. Desire to know Dharma. How everybody has curiosity and everybody has desire, but it is squandered everywhere. अरे जिज्ञासा तो है, जिज्ञासा देखो कहाँ है. ब्रह्म विषय जिज्ञासा है, जगत विषय जिज्ञासा. Vividishaya sampaditvatvat, and because now this sannyas is attained, accomplished through Vividisha, this sannyas is called as Vividisha sannyas. This renunciation now is going to be called as the renunciation of a seeker, the one who seeks the knowledge. Okay. Vividisha sannyasaha yakhyate. There is a typo in this particular print. Change it. Ayancha vedana hetu sannyaso vividha. Now this sannyasa, which is Vividisha sannyasa, vedana hetu sannyasa. Now this, what is the purpose of this sannyas? Because he wants to know. Do you require to take sannyas because you want to know? No. Sannyas is there because he doesn't want anything else. But he simply wants to know Parmeshwara. But wanting to know Parmeshwara is, this desire is so strong that no other desire can ever prevent it, obstruct it, and therefore all other desires are given up. That is the reason why the sannyas is accomplished by Vividisha. Remember, having such Vividisha, Jinyasa, is the only way you can know. All-consuming Vividisha. This Vividisha, this desire to know, it as if consumes all your being. There is nothing more. Have you not seen a person who is so passionate about something? Now he doesn't care about anything else. Especially this may happen with people like scientists. They forget the existence of the whole world, everyone. Somebody who is as if possessed. We are all acting in this world as if possessed. Somebody is possessed by an ambition for wealth. Somebody is possessed with his passion for the pleasures of the flesh. Somebody is for something else. Consumed by Vividisha. He burns bright like a flame, just wanting to know Parameshwara. Nothing can stop. Nothing can stop him, nothing can hinder him, nothing can deter him, nothing can break his courage, nothing can break his determination, nothing can crack him. And so, this is the sannyas which is accomplished by Vividisha Ityavithiyate. Ayam cha vedana hetu sannyaso dvivitaha. Since this sannyasa is vedana hetu, is the hetu, the cause for knowing. The knowing has yet not happened because it is in causal state. He will know because the cause is there, effect is bound to come. Knowledge is definitely bound to happen. But this is the cause. Vedana hetu sannyasaha dvividaha. It also has two aspects, or rather, dvividaha prakaraha. Matlab, two types. Types, right? What does it say here? Two types only, right? Two types. It is first one, listen to this very, very carefully. Because this kind of sannyas will come into life with little soft footsteps. There is no orchestrated circus around it. It is extremely soft. It is slow. Parivartan hai. Transformation is there. But it is soft. It is said the first type is Janmapadaka Kamya Karmadi Tyaga Matratmakaha. The first type is where a person now is not motivated by the Kamya Karmas. Do this and you will make more money. Do this and you will be able to please your senses, appease your senses. Do this and you will get that. This kind of an allurement doesn't interest him. He says, I'm simply doing my duty. I'm not doing it because I'm motivated by the idea of money. My doing is good enough, it will bring money. That's okay. But I'm doing it because it is Ishvara's seva. So the kamya karma tyaga takes place. Janmapadaka kamya karmadi tyaga matra. And this is what will happen. The kamya karmas will slowly start becoming insignificant, unimportant to him. What will remain important is that it is an opportunity to Ishvara's seva. Every moment, even when you are earning money for your family, now it is not for family. It is Ishvara who is in this form of mother, father, wife, and children. And this is how you are going to serve, and hence it gives me an opportunity. Let me do it. Janmapadaka kamya karma. This kamya karmas are also the reason for future births. And he is the one now who is a mumukshu who wants to get out of that cycle of punarapi jananam, punarapi jananam. Because janma marana and in between is only just sequence and sequence of dukkha, 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 sometimes more, sometimes less. That's it. That what is less you call as moments of joy. When it is more, you call it as oh, misery. And when it is less, you call it oh, it's joy. क्या है बीच में? जन्मापादक काम्य कर्मादि त्याग मात्रा कहा. This is the first. The second one, praishoच्चारण पूर्वक दंड धारणादि आश्रम रूपश्च, where the person takes to the actual life of renunciation by holding the staff, the ochre cloths, and by chanting the Praisha mantra. This is the sannyasa mantra. Praisha mantra is the sannyasa mantra. Praishoccharana purvaka dandadharanadi ashrama rupaschaiti. And it represents a station of life. Like how you have brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and finally sannyasa, where now you can identify the person belonging to the sannyasa, where he will be called as a sannyasi. Though the earlier one also is a sannyasi, but he has not taken to the lifestyle of renunciation. He may live as a grihastha, but in his life, kamya karmas have no place. Nitya naimittika karmas, he made. Shravana manana nidhyasanam has importance. Other things now don't. And therefore, praishoccharana dandadharana ashram. These are the two aspects, two types of sannyasa, and both of them are Paramahamsa sannyasis. Don't forget that. They are what? But actually, he may not be even a grihastha. He can take two vividishas. But here you find a little provision where he is kind of living as a sannyasi. He may not be recognized as a sannyasi by the society, but inwardly he is a sannyasi. just without the external paraphernalia. Ashrama Rupascha. We will stop here for the day and we will meet next time to discuss more of it. Thank you very much. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayana Sutrabhashyakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Thank you all. Thank you very much.